So let's just dive right in with the next part of this little tutorial, which is going to be API routes, which we're going to create to fire server-side API routes. And we're actually going to test this by implementing a Zapier zap using a webhook. I'm actually going to kind of do this part. No, I'm not going to do this first after all. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do a new folder here. Add new folder, and this is going to be topicalmap.ai. All right, like that. There's nothing there. All right, so here we go. Let's dive in. Don't need this stuff. The first thing that I'm going to do is, well, actually, here's an overview. Somebody's going to subscribe. Our app is going to fire off a function. We're going to hold their email and trigger, actually, before this, trigger a function when they submit the form. There's actually 2 or 3 different ways you could do this. I'm going to show you simply the easiest one for right now. Our app will hold the email, fire off a webhook, which will get a URL from Zapier itself here in a second. And then Zapier will catch the webhook that is fired off and then do whatever we want with it. In our case, subscribe them to an email list or something like that. So we're going to implement the form, check mark. We already did that. Actually, we didn't do that. We got to do the function, create the function. All right. And then we are going to create the zap on Zapier. I actually want to do this first. So I'm actually going to delete that. Forgive me. I'm kind of editing as I go here. We're going to create the zap on Zapier first. So it's going to be a webhook. You can get started with Zapier for free. I don't actually know if you can do webhooks on the free plan. I'm not positive, so I apologize. You can also look into make.com. It's a little bit cheaper for their paid plan. I am going to do webhooks by Zapier. I pay for Zapier, so I don't know. There it is. Let's do topical map. Wait list. How about that? We're going to name it that. Webhooks. So we're going to catch a hook that our app is going to fire off. Don't worry about the child key stuff. And it's going to give us a URL. So here is the URL. We're going to copy that in just a second. Let's go to, actually, just going to sit here for a minute. Let's implement this function first. Let's actually not do mobile. I just want to show you this console over here. Let's do this function right here on the front end that will fire off our API route. Let's do that first. Now, here's an example. You can copy and paste this to kind of get started. There's actually a better way to do this, which is to use SvelteKit actions. I'm not going to do that in this video because I think this is easier and we don't need it to be a Svelte action, I'm pretty sure. But just so you know, you could do Svelte actions. You can go look that up. I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm sure it might be in another video. So, goodness gracious, too many things open. So here is our homepage. Now up here in the script, we're going to do a few things. We're going to be capturing this email. I'm going to go ahead and create a variable called letEmail. And let's just set it equals to an empty string. All right, and hit save. This right here is going to be their email. Where's that thing? Oh, this input. Here we go. Type email, placeholder email, and I'm actually going to bind this to the email. Bind, : This is Svelte syntax. This is not standard HTML right here. This is Svelte. If you want to do this and you're not using SvelteKit, you wouldn't do it like this, but this is Svelte. Bind value email. And so I'm going to go back up here and do a function. Let's just do handle submit. Const is going to create a variable right here, kind of like let. I'm going to do handle submit. And this is going to be on submit. And I'm not going to let this whole thing do all right here. Async function, yeah, that's fine. We're going to do an async await function just because we're going to send the email. And then afterward, after it's sent, we'll redirect the user to a thank you page or something like that. So let's do a event right here. And then an arrow functionality, arrow notation rather. All right. So there is our function. It's empty right now. For now, let's actually just console log. This is just a great way to test stuff. We're going to console log some text here, firing function. Okay, I'm going to save this. Let's clean up the code a little bit. So if I click that button on our homepage now, even with no email in there, in this console over here, you're going to see something. Oh, actually, I do have to fill out the email. Let's do an email here. And then get notified. It's not doing anything. And that is because we didn't actually put the function to fire on this thing. So I got on click, or actually form. Can we do form on submit? I think that's what we should do. On submit, and then we're going to go handle submit inside the curly braces. So if I save this, now it's still not working. What are we doing here? It's form. Wait, should these be above the form? We probably should. This is on our card though. Let's get, actually, this is unrelated. Let me just move this above the form. Just keep the form nice and clean. Hopefully this works. Oh, I gotta redo the thing. I'll just do that later. Doesn't matter. Sorry. Wasting your time here. Wait, where's our, there we go. Okay. All right, we're better now. Why isn't this working though? Oh, it is. Okay. Maybe I didn't save that last time. So it's firing function. It's just some text that we're doing right here. Now, this, as soon as we enter this, we enter in an email address right here. It is being bound to this variable email. So we could just do firing function, and then we'll do with email, and then I'm gonna comma, and then do email, just like that. And it's gonna log, again, the console log is just printing this statement to the console for testing purposes. So I should clear this. Wait, did I save it again? Save. And now, if I click it, nothing should happen. If I enter in an email and click it, we should see firing with function pete@doyouevenblog.com. There you go. So let's actually, let's see. I can't remember how I show it below. There we go. Sorry, put the console on the bottom just so we can read it a little bit easier. All right, firing function with email. Now we're good. So now let's go back to my example code here, and we're gonna enter in this guy right here, handle submit. And I actually don't need this part up here. Event prevent default, we're gonna need that all the way down to here. So let me just paste it in, and then we'll walk through what it does right here. I'll clean that up, there we go. There's a shortcut for making your code pretty like that, and indenting, by the way. I press it all the time without even thinking about it. I think it's Shift Option F. That might even be somewhere over here. Oh gosh. I don't even know where to find it. View, appearance layer, run extension. You'll have to look this up. It's going to be different in yours. Sorry. There's a shortcut to like pretty up the code. I don't even remember what it is. You'll just have to look it up. Sorry. Go to Google, look that up. Super helpful for like seeing where things are. So this one we can delete because we have a console log up here. This is going to prevent the page from reloading, by the way. That's what that does. Go down here, put that in again. Console log for now. All right. So this is going to fire off the API route, which we have not created yet. So right now it won't do anything. And then this is kind of a little if statement that says, if the response is okay, if this works, in other words, we will go to, and then we're going to go to is like a SvelteKit thing to redirect the user to this page. It's not actually a redirect, maybe. I think it's just, it'll take them to this page. And if it doesn't work, if the response is not okay, we will console log an error, and you might even want to alert the user in some way. Alert the user. Alert, fail to submit email. There we go. So actually, if I run this now, it should fail, right? If I do this. Okay, so this route doesn't exist. We haven't even created it yet. And so it did the console error right here, just for our debugging purposes. And then alerted the user, failed to submit email. And you might even want to be more specific than that, of course. But for now, we'll just leave it as this. And let's see here. What do we need to do? Firing function, etc., etc. We need to create the API route. So let's do, actually, I can tell you one other thing. We're going to get an error when it comes to this. Actually, I'll just let the error happen, and then we'll fix the error. There you go. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's close a bunch of these pages, maps, log out, log in, routes. Under routes, we're gonna create a new folder called API. API, all right? And then under this API folder is where we will have all of our API routes, the actual URLs and the codes or whatnot. And these are gonna be done in individual folders. So for example, I'm just gonna create a folder called Zapier. And I hate how it kind of does that sometimes. These are gonna have server.js files in here. Let's go server.js, or TypeScript, it'd be server.ts. So here's Zapier, and there's gonna be a bunch of stuff in here. I think I even included some stuff here. Basically what we're gonna do is when this URL is hit from our front end, in fact, should we do Zapier? Let's do Zapier waitlist. I'm gonna add another folder under Zapier here, just because we might have multiple zaps in the future. Let's add another one here, waitlist. Wait, is that the right structure? I think so. I hate how they like do this sometimes. I'm pretty sure it is. Under waitlist, let's add a server.ts file. Okay, and then I'm gonna delete this other one. All right, move to trash. So right now in this, we have this get response. Can we actually just do a console just to see what happens here? Zapier waitlist server. I'm gonna save this and let's navigate to this URL. So this is gonna be our test one. /API /Zapier /waitlist. Is that right? I'm pretty sure that's right. And then we should have not found something. A little error there. Status not found. Okay, no problem. We'll figure this out. But the point is, this is going to be our URL right here. API Zapier waitlist. API Zapier waitlist. And then we got our server.js file here. So let me copy and paste in the boilerplate for the webhook, and then I'll walk you through what this does. So I'm literally just going to delete all this out, paste this in here. I'm going to hit my Prettify button, Shift Option F. There we go. Okay. So a few things we are doing right here. I'm not going to explain this line by line all the way through, but we'll get pretty close. I'm like tidying this up just a little bit here. Okay. All right. So what this does is it takes the data that we're sending to the request, which in our case, there's going to be like a little event thing right down here. If we go back to our first page. In fact, should we split this? We'll split this. All right. The API route is on this side, and the front end page, our home page, is over here. So we're going to call this little function here, handle submit, is going to send along this this email. We're going to send along the email, and we're going to receive it over here. So I'm just going to call it data. This is just kind of like, I think, an easy best practice. What I'm going to do is literally send along all the data. For example, what if this was like a bigger form that we might use for other stuff in the future? You might have email, you might have name, you might have type, you might have age, you might have a ton of different stuff like that. What you can do over here is just break out request.json, and I'm actually importing SvelteKit's JSON thing. This just basically changes the format of the data that's coming in, I believe. And it's going to be like an object. If you don't know what an object is in JavaScript, don't worry about it for right now. But we're actually just going to send everything to Zapier like this. And we can get the email separately. If we wanted, we could just send the email. It might even be data.email. Or we might be able to break out, deconstruct it like const email, and then something like that to pull out email. And we could just toss in the email. If none of this makes sense to you, don't worry about it for right now. We're just going to send all the data that comes from this little form right here to Zapier. That's what this does. So it gets all the data from the request that comes in, request.json. And then for now, how about this? Instead of this, for now, let's just console log this. Checklist zap. This is left over from fab.ai, where I stole this from. This is the waitlist. Waitlist zap triggered. Data equals this. So let's just see let's see if this works. And this is console logging. It's not going to be on the front end. It's actually going to be right here on the back end. This is our server log. Come here. Let's go back and just test this out. Get notified. All right. Zapier. Oh, we're triggering the wrong thing right here. So this is the API Zapier waitlist, right? That's the URL for our route over here. Let's try this again. Okay. Let's clear this and get notified. Oh, got to put it in my email again. Get notified. There we go. I am getting this error. Go to is not defined. I told you that there would be an error a little while ago. And that's because this is actually like a little function that we need to import at the top of our thing. And I actually don't even remember. Wait, it almost did it by default. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to use that. Let's go to SvelteKit. And it's probably, where's go to? Let's search this page for go to. App navigation. So we need that. So we're going to import go to. We're not going to do all these other ones from $app/navigation. So that's what that is. So let's go import, and then we'll do go to. See, it was trying to like autocomplete for me. That's Copilot. From, okay, now I want it to autocomplete. There we go. App/navigation. If I save this, no, if we go back here, let's refresh the page. It should, you should see something down here maybe very briefly, and then it's going to actually redirect me. So I'm going to do this. All right, there we go. And we haven't created this page yet, so it's not found. But that worked. And if I go back to my thing here, this should be waitlist zap triggered. You can see it did what it was supposed to. A console log waitlist zap triggered data equals data. And the data you can see right here is an object with those curly braces, and then a key value pair. The key is email, the value is whatever they entered. So, and then we got the error because thanks doesn't exist yet. That's fine. Let's actually create that. It takes 2 seconds. So this is going to be, let's just put it in the thing for now. Yeah, let's do waitlist. Or how about waitlist thanks? Yeah, that's fine. So let's do a new page.svelte file. And then it's going to be under waitlist dash thanks. And then we'll say, hey, thanks, you're on the wait list. All right, do that. I'm not loading any data right now, so we'll just comment that out and then save that. And now let's close this, change our go to. It's going to be /waitlist dash thanks. There we go. So now it'll redirect me and that'll work. So let's just actually test it one more time. Go back here, do that. Let's clear this, make sure. Do that, and then, hey, you're on the wait list. You're good to go. Looks terrible, but whatever. And then we can see that our API route did something right here. Waitlist app triggered, email equals that. There's my data object. So now the only thing left to do really is implement this on Zapier. So we're going to grab this URL and fire it from our API route right up here. So let's uncomment the actual thing here. Await, fetch, and then fetch a URL, and then what we like send to it. So I'm actually going to delete this, paste in that, hit save. Method is this is a post request right there. Headers content type equals JSON. It just says like we're sending it along JSON. And then we are stringifying. If you don't know what any of this stuff does, really, it's okay for now. We're just basically sending along the data that we got up here. Let's actually remove this console thing here. All right. And then we are returning. You always have to return something. You have to return a status code, which basically says like, it's okay. 200 is okay. If it's okay, then to do this. And response data. We're not even going to use this in this page right now, but we could. If res.okay. If this actually works, the response will be okay. And we could actually use, it doesn't matter. We're not going to, don't worry about this for now. It's going to get deep into explaining this. We're not actually using this for the most part. So we can just do this, right? It says we're listening. Well, let's give it a thing. That one, get notified. All right, come back over here and test trigger. There it is. Email pete@doomblog.com. And that's it. Like that's all of the data, but it's really just email for now. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm not going to do this next part. Actually, we'll do Cindy because I use Cindy already. You could use ConvertKit, MailChimp, whatever your email list is. Or if you're doing something else at this point, this is where you would do that. But I am just going to add a new subscriber, hit continue. And I'm gonna finish this later, but that's it. Right? Email, we do this email that we sent along. And then that's it. This is going to go to Do You Even Blog, not fab.ai. And then a list. I don't actually have a list for this created yet. Oh, actually I do. I can just finish it. Yeah, let me just finish it. This is going to be, what is this? Topical Map AI? Purchased Topical Map AI. Oh no, I don't want to do that one. It's a different list. It doesn't matter. I'll do this later. So I'm just going to leave this for now. But now we're done, right? We tested it, so I know it works. And I'm trying to think if I missed anything, but we're good. It takes them to this page. I'll tell you what, I'll style this just for fun really quick, and then I'll call this a video. Wait, those things. There we go. So let's add a div at the top. Let's do class. Let's do a container mx auto. Let's just actually start with that. Let's close the div down here. Let's make this a little bit prettier. Let's actually close this API route. All right, there we go. So it's in a container. Let's do a, this is gonna be an H1. All right, and then we'll do class equals, let's see, text for XL to make it really big. Yeah, there we go. And let's do font black to make it really bold. Okay, there we go. And then container MX, let's do text center. I didn't have to do that, actually. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Let's just leave that. Text center. Hey, you're on the wait list. And then we'll add some margin or do minimum height screen. Let's just try MH screen and see what it looks like. Minimum height of the screen. There we go. It's not centered vertically. I could do that. I don't actually remember how to do that very easily. I'd have to look it up, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. And instead, we'll just do margin Y 12. Yeah, perfect. Okay, I'll say, you'll be hearing from Pete at some point. Another smiley face. Do I need another smiley face? No, we'll just do that. All right, let's actually put her on a little margin here. Let's do class equals margin, top and bottom, y-axis 4. Save that. There you go. Okay, now it looks much better. Actually, let's go back. Just see what it looks like on mobile. I got my thing here. That's okay, right? That looks fine. All right, so that is it for this video. Now we have successfully implemented, a sign-up form that triggers the API Zapier waitlist route. And on our server.js file, we are just sending something to Zapier and getting a response back that basically says like, everything's okay, it worked. And then in Zapier, we have the Zap to add them to my Cindy thing, which I haven't completed yet, but I will. And that's it. All right, we'll see you in the next video.